Hey Ullas, I'm getting a lot of cancellation mails for the meeting.
Yeah, we are canceling this as a community meeting. I guess there was a question whether can we, reduce the number of regular meetings. So moving forward, yeah, we are canceling this particular meeting. We will still have Thursday community meetings.
So this gateway meeting won't happen in future?
We are not gonna have a gateway meeting, a separate gateway meeting.
So it will be included as part of engineering meeting, right?
I mean, not in this particular format. We will still have, I guess, updates about 5G and other important features, but there won't be in-depth technical discussions. The in-depth technical discussions will happen on the Slack channel on more focused meetings between the people who are involved in the feature development. And of course, GitHub, all the proposals and everything, all the communication will be on GitHub on the proper Slack channels as well. All right, I think we can start. We are already 7 minutes past. Just to repeat what I mentioned, I just sent out the cancellation messages for this weekly community meeting. For updates to the community, we will piggyback on the Thursday meetings. And for in-depth technical discussions, team discussions, the people directly involved in the development basically, of course, can have separate meetings. So if you want to actively participate in the development effort of any other feature, all the discussions are happening in the open. You can drop a line to the particular team and join to their technical discussion on development efforts accordingly. Is there any questions or feedback on this front? Phil is also in the meeting, so he can maybe comment more on this one.
Yeah, Ulas, I don't know that there's a lot to comment, but across all of the things that were going on, people were having meetings like every day and a lot of sessions. So there was just an ask to slow down the number of big community meetings that we put on the calendar. Clearly, as we go forward, we're still free to set up other less formal sessions among the developers to collaborate on issues. And you could even set up a standing meeting, similar to this with a small set of developers, even in the same time slot if you wanted to, but not treating it as a, fully community meeting that we're sponsoring by the project, more just a group of developers getting together to work an issue. And it's all just an effort to try to make people's lives a little bit less cluttered right now.
All right, thanks, Phil. So I will be communicating with separate teams basically as a follow-up on how this will impact our other stand-up meetings. Anyhow, for the 5G development team, we are meeting on a more regular basis than these weekly meetings. So I don't see any impact on that. But yeah, for all the other team members who are actively developing for the gateway features, I will be dropping a line separately. All right, so I guess Suresh is having a trouble in his connectivity. Yogesh, are you online?
Yeah, am I audible, Ullas?
Yes, you are. So do you want to give an update? I see that you guys have been experimenting, testing a lot of stuff in India time on Monday. So maybe can you give an update to everyone on where we are?
Sure, Ullas. So I think on TerraVM setup, we were facing one issue where some of the basic test was not working. So we generated today a complete package, and after that things were working fine. I think there was some library mismatch, but with the new package, everything is working. So we started with the periodic registration testing. Periodic registration we tested on DS tester and UNSIM, where it looks good. But the packet is slightly different in the TerraVM setup. The periodic registration which comes, does not have a UE capability and other fields. So I just requested Yogesh to have a look, and if they have any working packet capture to share with me. So I'll analyze it. But the basic periodic registration code changes are in place. After that, tomorrow the target is to test timers on the setup, and also the idle mode support, for which Vinay has raised the binding, has shared the patch. And of course, will go hand in hand with the UPF changes, the paging and the idle mode. So yeah, I think by Wednesday we are targeting these three main features: periodic registration, timers, and idle mode support. That's on the Magma 5G branch. And on the master branch, we have started landing the PRs, the big PRs. We are trying to make it short and place for review. And we have asked, we have done the basic sanity on UNSIM. We have asked help from Vinay to start verifying on the NGP testing. So these are the two main updates for us. Any questions?
So on which PRs are waiting to be merged on the 5G branch?
Yeah. So what happened? PRs are ready, but they are not. We have not got a green signal from TerraVM, so we are not posting it. Although in DS tester and UNSIM they are good. So yeah, the build issue was resolved today. So maybe tomorrow or by Wednesday we'll have all the PRs filled up for us.
Yeah, I mean, if we can stabilize the 5G branch with all these features, periodic registration, idle mode, and paging support. And have a build, a CI build, and then test that, by maybe tomorrow. Is it a possibility?
For others, it looks okay. For idle mode, because we have not run it through, I think it might have some changes, and there are some dependencies also. So maybe by Wednesday is what we are hoping.
Wednesday, okay. All right, I was hoping to freeze the 5G. I mean, the code merges on the 5G branch, but you are saying we have to wait until Wednesday.
Yeah, meaning there was some build problem. So that got resolved now. So now we are started getting the results back. So yeah.
What type of build problems were you having?
Yeah, we were actually just sharing the binaries, and somehow the packets were not landing from NGAP to AMF itself. We couldn't see any logs in AMF. We tried to add some debugs, but then we realized it's better they come to the same package as what we are using. So today we gave them the complete package because there were a lot of header files and libraries were changed. So yeah, meaning it was just there was no logs in AMF we were seeing.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, as I said, I mean, one thing I want to avoid is whatever you are building locally. I mean, all these things we should be able to build basically off the branch as well. So as far as I see, again, I mean, we are falling into a trap where different versions are being circulated around, and it is hard to keep track of which version is passing which tests.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever changes you have done, I mean, that is fine. I mean, until Wednesday, if we can finalize that and create a build of the 5G branch and do this test, and it is passing, then it is good. But if it is not passing, then you know, we shouldn't be, I think, creating too many different versions. It may be better maybe to raise a PR and keep updating that PR until it starts passing.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, we'll try to minimize it. Sure. Yes.
All right. All right. By that way, we can also follow. No, I mean, what type of changes you guys are doing? All right. Are there any questions for Yogesh?
Yeah, Vilas, am I audible? I'm sorry, Suresh
You
here.
are. Yes. Hey, Suresh.
Yeah. As such, on the DS tester, on of the negative scenarios, 7 of them are not testable. Because DS tester guys themselves told we don't have support for this particular case. So what to do with that kind of scenario, Sulas? This is a question that I have, and I think we can sync up offline also here, end of the day today in the meeting. Even I'm getting a question to myself, is it really worthy to invest time on DS tester at this stage further?
Yeah, that's, you know, yeah, I mean, it depends. You know, not all these test cases are required for, you know, regression or quick checks, basically, for the developers on the CI/CD pipeline. But I also don't like the idea of using too many, you know, simulators in this effort. So if there is basically a consensus that TerraVM basically delivers all the stuff basically that the other simulators are delivering it plus more, yeah, we should basically go down that path. But yeah, let's have this discussion maybe on the Wednesday meeting.
Yeah.
And if you can summarize actually maybe in a table form, you know, how pros and cons of each of these simulators, a comparison basically.
Yeah, we'll do that, Ulas.
I
Yeah.
do get. So do all these test cases not support on DSS, or are they supported on TeraVM? And which ones are you specifically talking about?
Yeah, particularly I'm talking about the negative scenarios. Little corner cases, no doubt, related to the cause values, SM cause, MM cause, kind of things. I need to check on that with TeraVM team, Yatindra and Arun, because we ourselves didn't explore much on the TeraVM yet.
Yeah. I mean, if they are not also supporting TeraVM, then your proposal basically is kind of not justified. So we have to make sure that everything that whatever we can do on DS tester is doable on TeraVM.
To an extent, what you said makes sense, Ulas. However, on the issues that we caught on TeraVM, those actually have infiltrated DS tester. So that's one of the implicit reasons why we are thinking, what is the extra value we are getting out of DS tester? Yeah, I think we can connect offline on this, Ulas.
Yeah. I mean, on the more fundamental issues, I mean, we have a better support on the TeraVM side, and that is given.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pick it up on the Wednesday morning call, because ITL team has to be involved in this discussion.
Noted, Ulas. Yeah.
Of course, the DevOps team and Phil, they have to be involved in there as well. There is already some effort put forward on the CI side for DS tester. And a lot of energy spent there. We also need to understand the readiness level on the CI pipeline. And another issue is the OAI team, basically, to what extent can we harmonize the 5G testing with the OAI team? If we go down TeraVM path, they don't really have access to that. So they cannot help much on that front.
So that is with respect to NSA scope of the work, Ulas?
Not NSA. I mean, NSA is still using the 4G core. What I was talking about is, 5G code development activities on OAI team. No, I mean, it is on. They are doing their own 5G core development. But that doesn't mean that we cannot collaborate or reuse the testing scenarios. And in the future, if we also start sharing some functionality, again, I mean, converging on the same testing infra, it's also important. Again, these are strictly on the CI pipeline perspective. So whatever we are using, basically test Magma currently, for example, can be used to test their 5G core as well, or vice versa. Anyhow, let's discuss this in a more structured manner rather than saying, oh, we don't wanna use this, we wanna use that. We need to have very methodological and express all the reasons.
Fine, Ulas. I'll give a heads up to Gosh and team.
Are there any inputs from anyone on this? Again, Phil, you spend a lot of energy on the DS tester side to get the extra license and setup ready.
Ulas, I was about to chime in, but you covered the issue really well. You know, while TerraVM has been very helpful for us, it's on the 5G side, it's a broader question about what are we going to make our baseline test methodology and our baseline test tool, and how are we going to integrate that into CI, because we need to make sure that we have a coherent approach across the 4G development and 5G development, and perhaps other access methods like Wi-Fi, and we need a single story for the platform. I do recognize and actually sympathize with the number of problems we've had with DS Tester as a platform, and TerraVM does seem to be superior. And the question of whether we could make a transition to that is a really valid and important question that we should address. But I think it's bigger than this group that needs to address that, which is exactly what you expressed, Ulas. So you're spot on.
All right. So if there is no other question or issues, maybe we do an around the table. And Mohit, do you want to maybe give an update from OAI team side?
Yep, sure. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, hey everyone. So we at OAI, me and Lionel, I'll start with what I am working on. It's with the APN AMBR extended field edition to accommodate the greater than 256 Mbps data rate in the existing code.
Is it only me? I cannot hear you.
Hello? Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, I mean, you were disconnected on my side. I don't know, maybe it is my internet connection.
Okay, so is it okay now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so for the LTE part of the code, I am working on the APN AMBR extended to field edition, which is useful to accommodate the data rate greater than 256 Mbps. And other than that, we are creating a roadmap for the NB-IoT edition in the existing Magma code. We are still we are working on defining a task list for that. And as mentioned by Lionel Gauthier in the last week presentation, this edition will be carried out in 2 phases, with the first phase concerning only about the basic attach scenarios. And in the second one, we'll use the data transport and other functionalities as per our requirement. And the other team member is Lionel Gauthier, who is, are you here, Lionel? Yeah. So please go ahead.
Sorry, what was it you want me to add?
It's about the GTP V2C edition which you are working on.
Yes, concerning, because there was an issue, because on the working essentially with the legacy S11 interface, on the Magma added an additional AI that is linked bearer identifier on the delete session response that is not in FreeGPP. So there was an issue in the code because when we are running cups. So that's what I am adding actually into the GTP2C stack with this LBI that is stored with the transaction, GTP2C transaction. So it's not a big deal, in fact. So everything will be harmonized between OVS and the cups architecture that is using OAI.
All right. And when is the expected time of closure on all those items, if you can also update on that front?
Yeah, from my side, the AP and AMBR edition should be done by tomorrow, all tested. And I will share the logs with you as you have mentioned, the PCAP traces. And for the NB-IoT task list, we will create the issue within a day or two for that as well. We'll try to finish it off by the end of the day tomorrow, finalizing the task list and updating the GitHub action items.
Okay. Yeah, we need to put this into the proposal template, the whole NB-IoT feature. And then basically specify the touch points. How soon do you think we can do this?
I'll finish off what I was working on, the detailed, the description of the task, and then we can go on whether we will use the API between MME and OVS and other discussions which we were doing prior to this call. And once that is done, maybe we can do that, or as you suggest.
Yeah, I mean, another feature we can entertain to use is maybe the wiki page, basically feature on the GitHub.
Sure.
It might be easier to embed the figures that we are drawing, the call flows, etc.
Okay. I'll do that. All right.
Yeah, let's try to make this as much accessible as possible, the whole discussion. So other parties who are interested in NB-IoT and want to contribute can chime in.
Yep, sure.
I see Prithvi, you are also in the meeting. Do you want to give an update on where we are on the service area restriction?
Yes, Flash. Yeah, there was an issue related to TAU procedure. So I fixed that issue, and now both the test cases are passing on TerraVM setup, and I just raised a PR for that. Yeah, that is about service area restriction. And I could not look into the other issue that you mentioned related to S1AP tester. You said S1AP tester is crashing when you send concurrent PDN connectivity requests, right? Yeah, so that I was not able to verify. Actually, I'm again not able to bring up Magma VM today. It is failing at a step where it tries to install FluentBit key. So I ran into this issue last week as well. But after I did a fresh clone, it started working. But yeah, today again, I am facing the same issue.
Does this happen when you switch back and forth to different branches?
No, it happened on master. I actually on Friday destroyed my VMs because on the TerraVM setup, I was not able to, the MME service was not coming up. So I thought I will just pull the latest core and create a fresh binary. And I just destroyed my VM. And after that, I was not able to bring it up.
Vinay, is this the same problem we are facing?
Yeah.
Can you guys drop a line on the DevOps channel, address it to Tim basically, and describe the issue that we are facing?
Yeah, I had a discussion with Tim last week, and he said it is the network issue between Magma VM and the FluentBit side. And he asked me to comment out the part where this FluentBit installation is happening in the FluentBit main.yaml file. I commented out that part, and the next step, the installation of TD agent started failing. So I commented out that as well. And now the virtual env installation is failing. I tried to manually install all these and comment out from the provision step, but somehow that also is not working. Yeah, so yeah, but I was able to generate MME binary by just doing build OAI, and that's how I tested these tau test cases on TerraVM setup. But yeah, I'm not able to bring up the complete Magma VM.
Okay. What base image are you guys using? Are you both on Ubuntu 16?
Yes, yes.
I wonder if
16.
Plus, my case, I was able to create a Magma in the latest Magma. I was able to set. I mean, Magma is up for me.
And you are also on Ubuntu 16 as the host machine?
I think Ganesh is on 18.
Ubuntu 18.
Yeah, I wonder if there is any dependency on the base image.
Sorry, my base mission is a Debian. I did created an VMs on top of.
So your host OS is Debian.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. Is it possible to upgrade your host OS on the Redis side?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking to do. I thought I'll check with Ankit once because Ankit has 18.04. So if it works on his system, I thought I'll upgrade mine as well.
All right. Yeah, this doesn't sound like at all to me as a connectivity issue.
Because I am able to do wget. I mean, I'm able to fetch and install the key using wget.
Okay. Yeah, let's try to test it out. Basically, if sync up with Ankit as you suggested. Let's try a higher, host OS version. And if it works basically on a newer one, maybe we should also sync up and make a suggestion to the community in terms of what host OS versions should be used, if there is any dependence on that.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the issue is the majority of the developers basically on the Facebook side, we are all using Mac OS basically as our development environment.
Yeah, right.
And the ones on the CI/CD pipeline, I am not sure actually what the host OS they are using. It has to be Linux, but we can also double check on that.
Okay.
All right. Rashmi, I don't see her here. I guess we are done with around the table. If there are no more questions, let's finish up this call. All right. Thank you, everyone. So as we talked at the beginning, if there are any last minute joining, this is the last meeting for this recurrent weekly gateway meeting. Moving forward, we will just have closer project-based meetings with the team members. Of course, we will continue the other community meetings on Thursday morning. Please tune into that one for any updates. Thank you.
Thanks, Ulnas.
Thank you.